Hello, everyone. I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access TV.
And I'm Kim Anderson, a board member of Missoula Community Access
Yeah,
Television.
and we're together again for the first time in 2014.
Happy New Year!
Yeah, Happy New Year to you, Missoula, to you, Kim. And we're going to talk in a minute with Michael Moore. He's here from United Way to talk about Project Homeless Connect. And of my business, I will say some MCAT business a little bit first. The burning issues at MCAT are getting people to play our piano. But we sort of have, and there's a new show, this gal Noelle is doing it, and it's called Generation Talks. I met Noelle at Taco del Sol, where she works as well, and she brought in Mert White, and Mert, the idea of Generation Talks, from Noelle's perspective, is that we don't have a lot of intergenerational discussion, and like on television, there's even less. So what she wanted to do is bring in Missoula senior citizens and talk to them about their lives, their situation, and so on. And she talked to Mert about, like, Mert went through a transition of living on her own, having her own car and everything, and then something happened. I think she fell, she broke her hip, something, but she made the transition from having her own place and car to being in a group situation, and what that transition was like how she didn't like it at first, and then how she came to like it more as time went by. And then Mert also played this really great tune on the MCAT piano.
Excellent.
So far there have been 4 brave souls from the community that have come to use MCAT's Clavinova. It's still pretty new. It has 4 piano voices. It's got a harpsichord, jazz organ, a kind of cathedral organ. So if you know of someone that plays the keyboard, or you yourself, or you're a teacher who thinks maybe a student could use having themselves recorded or watched, you're welcome to come down here to MCAT and schedule a time to record yourself playing our piano. The number is 542-6228, or you can email us mcat@mcat.org. Oh, and I should say too, we put up the new website. There's some problems, of course. It just went up like on Sunday.
But a new website is never error-free.
No, and it has a schedule feature so that viewers of the website can go and watch Channel 7, look at Channel 7's schedule for the entire month. Click on a day, see everything that plays, Channel 11. So that's like our biggest, most improved thing.
Hugely important.
We're having a little trouble with media assistance grants forms as of today, January 13th. So if you're out in television land, a nonprofit that uses, about 300 nonprofits use our media assistance grants service per year. You should probably, yeah, there it is.
It looks great.
Christian made that banner. This kind of apocalyptically happy Missoula. The sun is rising, and everyone is out. They're paragliding, and they're doing some ballet on Sentinel.
That's great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Scott is telling me in my ear to mention that our first Friday, February the 7th, is going to feature the work of it's Scott's girlfriend, Yana. Scott? What's Yana's last name? Dryden, Yana Dryden.
Wow.
She's going to be our artist Friday, February 7th. That's a reception we have here at MCAT from 5 to 8 p.m. And that's an example of her work, that playful fox. Yeah, and then just in the corner, Kim, I can see that, that sliver that's not the picture, that's where she took it, is the 4th floor of the Fine Art Building, where I myself, 30 years ago, came to learn the rough trade of fine art. So it was very nostalgic. I could just see that. I was like, is that? Oh, of course it is. Yeah. So that's good. So that is mostly all my MCAT news.
A lot going on. And I just wanted to say, with my other hat, my Humanities Montana hat, that we have a call for new speakers programs. And can I just explain?
Please do.
We have a speakers bureau of over 100 different presentations on humanities kinds of issues: history, literature, philosophy, religious theory, art theory and criticism, jurisprudence, and economics. And so if you have a particular interest or expertise in any of those kinds of topics and would like to be paid to travel around the state to give these presentations to community groups and to schools, then go to our website and there's an online application, and the deadline is January 31st.
So it's coming up.
So humanitiesmontana.org. And also, we have our next grant deadline for regular grants. If you have a project, a conference, a workshop, the sky's the limit. Well, no, $5,000 is
Well,
the
that's a
limit.
good sky, though. The blue sky.
But we have our next grant deadline is February 20th.
Okay.
For humanities-related projects we might be able to support. And again, go to the website. Well, I think
Great.
that's it for me.
That's really good. It would be it for me, but the good people of the National Coalition Building Institute couldn't be here today.
Right.
So I am on a little bit of a mission from the National Coalition Building Institute. Has been in Missoula for a very long time. I guess they're just like the Missoula arm of the National Coalition
Yes.
Building Institute. And a lot of the work they do is trying to get people to examine and break down barriers, you know, of class or race or gender orientation
Right.
and so on. So they have very kindly, for a number of years, put together a Martin Luther King Jr. Day event. And so I'm just going to tell you guys, because Ben couldn't be here to tell you guys what the event is going to be this year. It is January the 20th, a week from our recording today, January 13th. So it includes a rally at Caras Park with themes, which is youth voices speaking up and speaking out. And then they will march from the park. I'm looking to see when the time is, because he's supposed to put it on the form. Oh, good. 6 p.m. They're going to march. They'll have the rally at Caras Park,
Park,
the
yeah.
tent there. And then after some remarks there and speakers, there will be a march from there to the St. Paul Lutheran Church. And then the evening will close with a community gathering and celebration at St. Paul's, featuring live music performances, a presentation of awards for the youth art and essay contest they hold, and a keynote from Dr. Paul Lauren from University of Montana.
Who's an amazing speaker.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
And if you would like to learn more about that, you can go to their website, which is ncbimissoula.org. But that is the long and short of it. On Monday, January 20th, 6 p.m., go to Caras Park, and you will be part of that happening.
Great.
Okay, so now we can turn our attention to the very patient
Very
Michael
patient. He's just
Moore.
been sitting here waiting for us.
Yeah, Michael is representing United Way, and a number of organizations come together for this event, Project Homeless Connect.
Yeah, we expect to have about 75 different service providers. And when we use the word service providers, when we deal with the homeless people, I think oftentimes think of the food bank or the YWCA or the Poverello or some program like that. But this is a day where it's almost any kind of service, and we include barbers, dentists,
Right.
Veterinarians.
cute little old ladies that will sew up your jacket or fix the hole in your sock. It's really it's a broad spectrum of services that, yeah, we'll have, we can take care of your dog, we can get you some pet food, we'll have a crate there to put your dog in while you come inside and spend what time you need. People can get a nice warm meal, they can, I think one of the favorite things people always get is get their hair shampooed.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a tough time, especially this time of
Sure.
year. I mean, nobody wants to be dunking their head in the river to clean
Right.
it up. So it's a great day in a way. But last year was my first year to be the spokesperson for Homeless Connect, and a reporter asked me, well, wow, you guys served more people than you served last year, and don't you just feel great about that? I said, well, no.
Yeah.
I don't feel great about that at all, because that tells me we're not solving the problem. And the fact that we have more people one year versus another year, I don't know if it is completely indicative of a growth in the population, but there's no way to say it's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing, and it's a kind thing that we roll out as a community on this day, and we help people out to the extent that we can. But Is it a good thing when 396 people show up at a church because they can't get services on a regular basis? No, and it's really an unacceptable thing, and that's part of the reason that the mayor and county commissioners appointed a commission several years ago to start up Reaching Home, Missoula's 10-year plan to end homelessness.
Right. And another thing about the event, the event is also open, lest people watch and get the idea that it's going to be everyone living on the street with bedrolls and whatnot. This event is open to people like in danger of homelessness,
Absolutely.
right? Who could go there and find out how they can connect with services they may not be aware of
Right.
that will allow them to keep their place, whether it's a home or an apartment. Things like the Human Resource Council that offer the winter heating assistance plan. Or maybe they're too shy to go to the food bank and they think, I can't make my mortgage payment and eat. I don't know how to balance those
Yep.
two things.
That's right, Joel. And there's a stereotype of homelessness that it's a man, and he's maybe had some hard miles put on him, and he's living downtown, or he's living in a camp out along the river. That's about 15% of the homeless population in Missoula. So while it's a perception that we have, and we often think of it, that's the visible part of the homeless population. That's not by any means the majority part of the homeless population. It's unfortunate to say this, but we have in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 people that are sort of out on the street and visible, downtown, by the river, maybe by the Albertsons at Eastgate, something like that. We have 2 times that many kids who are homeless in our school district.
Yeah. I have read
At
things
least
about that, and there's a
100.
real general difference too, where as women, as the primary caregivers, as the society sets them up, they don't just take to the street or to the homeless shelter. They make do with like relatives. They say, oh, we're going to be here for 2
Right.
weeks. Oh, we just need the place for a month. So they're much more likely to not expose the kids to that rougher male-dominated environment of the soup kitchen and remain to the public eye invisible.
Yeah.
So that people think,
Yep.
and I think people are this way, which is quite natural. Like, when there's a tragedy, you want to find someone to blame. So if you see like a half-crocked guy asking for change downtown, you're like, well, he's an alcoholic and that's his choice, and everything works out. The poor are poor because they want to be poor, and the system has not failed them in any way. But they don't see the people that are struggling behind the scenes, as you say.
Yeah, the federal definition of homelessness is pretty broad, and it certainly doesn't narrow down to a guy that's sitting outside the Ox, with his bedroll on his back. It includes people who are couch surfing, who are with this relative for 1 week, with this other friend for another week, and then maybe they're in their car for a week. It's unfortunate, but we have school bus drivers who, on occasion, their bus route includes picking up a kid out of a car, not a house. That to me is unacceptable as a community, and that's one of the first areas that we're really taking a hard look at with the 10-year plan to end homelessness. But, homelessness is a stigma, and there's a lot of people that aren't going to say I'm homelessness because they don't want to be branded that way. They immediately are treated differently. Certainly their children are treated differently, and I can't imagine any child anywhere who, if a teacher said, is anybody in our class homeless, I can't imagine a kid raising their hand.
Right.
And yet at every single school in this town, probably, if you said, is there a kid homeless here, I'm betting there is one. And I bet all of us, between us, our kids are going to school with a homeless kid. And so one of the nice things about Homeless Connect is that, a lot of times people haven't really availed themselves of every service that's out there because, frankly, it's kind of a Herculean task.
Yeah, it's not easy.
No, to make your way through every, So maybe you've encountered homelessness and your first problem is a health issue. So maybe you wind up at Partnership Health and they do what they can to help you, and they say, hey, have you registered for WIC? or some other food assistance program? Do you know where the food bank is? Do you know that the Y might be able to get you into a motel program for a while? Or maybe the Salvation Army has a voucher for you to get some sort of other service. There's a lot of different places where you might be sent. So, but for a homeless person, and often a person without a car, to be told, well, you need to go to this place, and then you need to go to that place, and then you need to go to that place. Well, we have plenty of anecdotal evidence that there's a point where people just say,
yeah, if you don't have easy access to a phone
that is
or
just,
a computer.
that's too much to me. And so you go back to grandma's house, or you go back to your neighbor's house where you're living in the basement for a while. This is a chance to find sort of all those services in one place. So, and yeah, it's kind of an endurathon, and yeah, it's crowded, and there's a lot of people there, and it can be kind of a show there for a while. But
they're showing an image there, you know, from the website of the day. Oh, it's from the Missoulian. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Scott says it's from the Missoula.
Yeah, we've had, the media's been great about at covering this, and I think trying to understand the depth of the problem that we have here, and that it's not a simple problem. But this is a chance, you know, we'll have people there from the job community that can help you. We can get, if you need Social Security disability, there'll be somebody else there who can help you. If you haven't signed up for any other food program, if you're eligible, we can get you into that. You know, we do have a federally funded health clinic in this town, and you know, one of our hugest problems in this community is that we spend a lot of money on homeless people using the upper end of services. So let's say you're a guy downtown, maybe you've had a abscessed tooth problem for a while, it gets bad, it gets infected, you get a terrible fever, it's bad enough to where you pass out downtown. So an ambulance comes to get you, a fire truck comes to see you, probably a police cruiser drops in, and then they take you to an emergency room.
Right.
And immediately your bill is $1,500 to $2,000. If we can get that person into Partnership Health, you know, for a $40 dental visit and see them multiple times a year, that's money that we don't spend. And St. Patrick's, bless their heart there, they spent over $4 million last year providing health care to homeless people.
Wow.
And that's money that St. Patrick's, because it is a nonprofit, they could use in other ways that would help us deal with other problems related to homelessness.
The ounce of prevention.
Yeah, it becomes a cycle.
It's a huge cost. You know, the cost of housing homeless people is less than the cost of having people live on the streets. Salt Lake has recently been making a huge effort in terms of housing veterans. And we have a veterans housing program here, but they've been far more aggressive than other towns except for Phoenix. And they're claiming to have housed every veteran that they've found. I don't think they've necessarily housed every veteran, because people that aren't enrolled with the VA or something, I'm not sure they're finding them. But the fact is, they're housing them to the tune of about $11,000 a year. Now, that sounds like a lot of money.
Per individual.
Per individual. Sounds like a lot of money until you look at national statistics and say the average homeless person on the street costs you $15,000 to $25,000 a year. And so, yeah, maybe you put up $11,000, and maybe you're going to spend $5,000 the next year with some rental assistance or case management, but the person's off the street. You leave them on the street, you're going to spend that amount of money and more every year. So that's another thing that the 10-year plan posits, is that helping people be housed is not just the morally correct thing to do. It's the economically right thing to do, and it's a smart thing for our community to do. And Project Homeless Connect, you know, it's the kind of thing that I wish we could do it every month, and because that sort of outreach that puts us in touch with that population on a more regular basis makes it more likely that we can find ways to help them. There's a lot of people on the street whose some suffering from mental illness, some suffering from alcoholism, but a lot of people are suffering from institutionalized thinking about themselves. They've been out a long time. I talked to a man the other day that's been riding the train line between Seattle and Minneapolis for 25 years.
Wow.
And he spends part of his year in Missoula every year. And he actually had a mental health diagnosis from about 15 years ago. And, you know, we just by chance ran into him behind the Union Gospel Mission one day and had a little chat with him. And I think we may have, you know, gotten him to the point where he's willing to go back, get some medication, maybe find his way off the streets. But to him, there's no other reality. This is who he is. Yeah. This is his life. And he can't imagine the idea of being in a home. He doesn't view it as a bad thing, but it doesn't fit his picture of himself.
Yeah. Sure.
And we've got all too many people that feel that way, and some we can help and some we can't.
Well, especially interesting that veterans focus. You know, like when Erin
Yep.
Fowler was here, she was saying that for veterans are 33% of the homeless population and only 7% of the general. So there's something about doing service for Uncle Sam that kind of winds you up in the street.
Right.
And that does seem like a really strong societal obligation. You know, the people that say, well, gosh, they serve the country.
Yeah.
What is the outcome
place to
of
start.
that? Yeah. Well, we better focus on the thing. Scott was saying, we have
the
other
when,
guests and stuff.
where, what.
Well, so this is Friday, January the 24th.
Correct.
Okay.
It starts at 9:30 a.m.
Yeah, we open the doors at 10 o'clock, but we'll
Okay.
start sort of lining people up at 9:30. And,
First, the United Methodist Church's
right across
kitty
the
corner
street
from the library.
Yeah, right,
Right, yeah.
just right there
Okay,
by the
good.
library. And we do go from 10 until 3 in the afternoon, and we will provide, you know, all of the service throughout the end of the day. I would encourage people, if they by chance are watching, the earlier the better.
Yeah, I bet.
It's kind of an involved process, and if there's a lot of services that you would like to seek, you know, it's going to take you a while to get them. One of the great things about this day is that everybody who comes has a volunteer assigned to them, and it's a person that sticks with them for the whole amount of time that they're there. And I've chatted with several folks who've come over the years. Back when I worked at the newspaper, I reported on this event and would kind of hang out with one person one day, and I did the same last year. And when you ask people, what was the best part about today? And the best part long term may well turn out be that, I got registered for X, or I got signed up for Y, and that may be ultimately the thing that helps them out of homelessness. But for that day, it was somebody to talk to, who listened to them all day and who sat with them, and if they had a question, they found the answer to it. But that human to human contact. You know, there's a community in the homeless world that's out on the streets, but for those people who aren't the stereotype, who are the mom with kids that are shuttling between a car and a friend's house and a neighbor and a grandma, they live in a small world.
It has to be very isolated.
It's very isolated, and it's very shut off from what we might view as sort of the normal life of Missoula. And so to have somebody sit there with you all day and say, you know, just to even hear your story. Because, you know, a lot of these stories, I think, people think they fit the stereotype. You know, Joel, you made the reference, well, that's, you know, that guy's down there drinking and he's made bad choices. Well, we don't know why he's drinking. There's a lot of people drinking in our economic class and stuff, and they got their own reasons too. And you know, until you sit down and really kind of walk that mile in that person's shoes, you don't know why. But most people, and a lot of people in this town, are one or two paychecks from the very same situation of going back to your mom's house, living at your grandma's house. all too many people in this town are very close to that sort of economic
Emergency housing
line.
situation.
or a medical bankruptcy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now that really comes up.
You
to
know, I mean,
Anybody.
a broken leg that's
Right.
$12,000.
yeah, I mean, it's great now that we have some opportunities for everybody to get insurance, but still, that costs money. Not everybody's done it. And even, you know, even a medically covered event, like a huge event like a stroke or something, you know, you might find yourself paying 20% of a $300,000 bill,
still
and that's the
outrageous.
end for you.
Right.
So,
Well, Michael, I guess we got to boot you.
okay,
It
I'm
just
willing
means
to.
like we have to have you back, though.
Yes.
You know, to talk about the
I have
issue.
one last question,
in
though, and that
general.
is, do you have all the help you need for this?
Yeah,
or
because you
is
need
there-
175 volunteers.
Yeah,
That's what
and
the
you know,
website
just
said.
this morning we had our count. We were at 161,
Wow.
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
so
cool.
we are pretty close to having our needs met there. And we've had a lot of help from the service provider community. The Missoula Interfaith Collaborative has been really helpful to us this year at helping find
But I
volunteers.
can well
So-
imagine that even once you don't need more bodies, you need more money.
well,
Probably.
well, we need more money in a lot of ways to help homelessness. If you do have a burning desire, I'd love to hear from you at michael@MissoulaUnitedWay.org. The volunteer program is up and running. I do think we'll be set up, and you know, we hope to have 175 to 200
Yeah.
people. I'm expecting, you know, that we'll have in the neighborhood of 350 to 450 people
Wow.
come that day to see our 75 service providers. So it'll be a big day, and it's a day I think that Missoula can kind of pat itself on the back a little bit, but we got to move beyond the mentality of thinking that this one day is a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
One
know,
day. It's only one day.
We have a plan that audaciously calls itself a plan to end homelessness, and none of us is so naive as to think that we're going to end it for every single person. But, you know, I tell people, tack on a family's name to a plan to end homelessness for the Jones, for the Moores, for the Bears, for the Anderson, you know, and that's how we can do it. And that's not a one-day event.
Right.
But I hope people will support this event and will support the larger effort to really get control of Missoula's homeless situation.
Absolutely.
Great, Michael. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
coming
having
over.
me.
You
Much
know it.
appreciated.
All right.
We'll be right back. Stephanie from the AIDS Council is going to be out next, and then Scott's going to show you a PSA about playing the piano here. Oh, hello. I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, and I wanted to tell you that we want to start making a new program here at MCAT called Missoula Plays Piano. We just bought this pretty nice piano. It's a Clavinova by Yamaha, and it has 4 piano voices on it. It also has an electric piano sound, a different one, and it has some organs. And it also has a jazz thing. So, if you would like to play this piano, all you have to do is call us and let us know when you want to play the piano, and we'll have someone record you playing the piano for up to an hour. As an addition, we've got a green screen, so that if you want a custom background, let's say you want to be in a jazz club, or you don't like that so much, you want to play the organ part, and you want to be in a nice church. That should work out, I don't know. But you could also use that feature of Missoula Plays Piano. Now, we're looking for people of any quality level skill at all, really. We're hoping you won't be shy. So a condition of coming here, playing your piano, and being able to leave with your own DVD disc with the special green screen background would be that you allow us to take some of the numbers and share it with the rest of the Missoula community. And you're not just limited to playing our piano or organ or what have you. You could also come here with a friend who plays the flute or the guitar or the cello or whatnot. So, in any event, if you would like to participate in the Missoula Plays Piano program, call us at MCAT. The number is 542-6228. or give us an email at mcat@mcat.org. We could record your show in the afternoon or the evening. If you want to bring in a child that you know or someone under the age of 18, you'd probably have to sign the program contract for them. And if you are under the age of 18, like a teenager, what have you, you can participate, but you need an adult guardian's signature to give a release. So anyway, Missoula, there you have it, an invitation to come to MCAT, downtown Missoula, and play the piano for our show, Missoula Plays Piano. For MCAT, I'm Joel Baird. Thanks for thinking about it, and thanks for passing along to someone you know who likes to play the piano. All right, we are back. Stephanie Colas here from the Missoula AIDS Alliance, an office that is just down the corridor from us. And you guys just moved. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Now, you just moved into these new offices, but weren't you in this building before?
This is our third office space in this building.
Okay.
So
Wow.
we kind of joke that we're trying to occupy every office
They're going to
space
be kicking us
in
out
this
of this
building.
space.
That's fine. I share with them.
So we just, same building, same floor. We're just down the hall and around the corner. A little more private. It's a cozier space.
Great.
But we like it.
Good. And this is, of course, 500 North Higgins. Is on the corner of Spruce and Higgins, right across the street from Iron Horse Bar, kitty corner from Warden's Market. Okay, then. And in the new space, Stephanie, you were saying that Missoula AIDS Alliance was now providing a new service towards the prevention of HIV/AIDS.
Yes, HIV/AIDS, and also for the new program, which is our syringe exchange program, primarily targeting HIV and hepatitis C prevention.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we have had our HIV and hepatitis C testing programs for years up and running. We do support groups, client services, so we do have housing support, housing assistance for people in Western Montana that are living with HIV, along with a case manager. We do lots of condom distribution, community outreach and education to the high schools and other community organizations. And then we recently have started the new program, which is the syringe exchange.
Right, and both Kim and I expressed surprise because we thought, well, does that mean really that they're intravenous drug users in Missoula and you're trying to help stop the spread of HIV and hepatitis C by exchanging used needles for sterile, clean needles?
Exactly. And part of the program is to keep those used syringes off of the streets to prevent harm to other people who are not injecting but may encounter a used syringe.
Sure.
So we properly dispose of them in a safe way. So that is another benefit to the program.
And that has sometimes been controversial, right?
Yes,
In the past where people have said, oh, this is terrible. You're enabling the intravenous drug user, so we should make everything about it illegal, including the material that's used for the injection.
Right.
Yes.
But it seems like the activity is still going on, and then the spread of dangerous disease is also going on along with that particular tragedy.
And we follow kind of the harm reduction principles, acknowledging that drug use exists and it will exist with or without clean supplies. And so we hope to lessen the harm caused by injecting drugs by providing the sterile equipment and resources. If someone does want to get help in some capacity, we can then guide them to the appropriate places within the community where they could get help if they
Oh, right. So there's
they're
actually
ready.
a dialogue. If somebody
I can
says,
imagine
I'm
it's-
injecting meth and I'm addicted and maybe I'd like to stop, they know of a place where they could say, well, how does a person go about doing that?
Exactly.
It's an initial point of contact, and that's probably important.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, do you want to describe more how that program works? Or, this is like Michael just left talking about the stigma of being homeless. Now we're going to talk about the stigma of injecting illegal drugs into your veins directly. So if someone is watching and they're in that position, what do they do? I mean, this thing seems very physical, like if you're exchanging used needles for clean needles, they have to see you at some point.
Yes. Yes, they do come in, and one of staff members at Open Aid Alliance will take them back to a private space within our office, and they will then dispose of their used needles. We do not handle any of that. And then we chat with them for a bit and see what new supplies they need, if they have any questions. A lot of times they just want to talk because there's a lot of judgment associated with drug use in general. And I think a lot of people who use the program feel good that they're in a safe space that is non-judgmental, where they're treated with dignity and respect.
Gotcha. There is a website people could go
Yes.
to. I always think that's like for the shy people. It's the easiest point of contact, right? Nobody's
Yeah.
looking
Don't
at
even
you.
have to
Check.
talk
They
on the
can check
phone.
you out anonymously. So, what is that? Oh, they're
There
showing
we
it.
are.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Nice.
So Open Aid Alliance.
So is it I can almost read it from here. OpenAidAlliance.org.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. So you didn't even
Yes.
have to put Missoula in there, or
Nope.
people can just Google it.
Yep.
And so on. Are there hours that, like a drop-in sort of situation?
Yeah, you know, our hours are Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5, and then on Friday we are open 9 to 3. And people can drop in for testing or for the syringe exchange or to pick up condoms at any time during the hours that we're open.
Right, right.
Great.
And I was going to ask you something. I forgot what it was. Oh, maybe to tell people just a little bit more about hepatitis C. One of the problems with hepatitis C is that people can have the disease without knowing it for many,
many
years.
Yes.
And you know, the symptoms when they appear could be debilitating at that point. That's why it makes a lot of sense for early detection and
Yes.
treatment. So I've said it all, but you could probably say it better.
You did a very, very good job.
Yeah.
So I think one of the Hep C is blood-to-blood contact,
Yeah.
and so unlike HIV, which is in semen, vaginal fluid, blood, and breast milk, hepatitis C is strictly blood-to-blood. So you do have to come in contact with an infected person's blood. The scary thing about hepatitis C is that it can live outside of the body for much longer than HIV, and so it is much more infectious and much more contagious. And that is why injecting drugs is incredibly risky if you are sharing your equipment. And really the only way to know if you are Hep C positive is to get that test, which is we provide an antibody test which will detect hepatitis C antibodies in your bloodstream. We do then request, if that test comes back positive, to get a confirmatory test and a viral load test to make sure. But then if it is indeed positive, you can pursue treatment if that will be, you know, if that is a viable option for you, and get connected with a provider, which is very important if you have hepatitis C.
Right, because it's a long-term, difficult to cure.
And it does affect your liver, which is another important thing.
I mean, you may be symptom-free, but that doesn't mean damage isn't happening.
Exactly.
And you are also, of course, in possibilities of spreading it.
Yes.
So, right.
Yeah, it's a
Great
really good idea for
service.
people to get checked
Yep.
at least once in their lifetime for
Yeah.
hepatitis C.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Stephanie, thanks so much. Unless you've got something to
thank you.
add, we're going to move on to Lynsey and Blue Mountain Clinic. But
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thanks
you're
for coming
welcome.
over.
Yeah.
And welcome to your new home.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So we'll be right back. Lynsey Bourke is here from Blue Mountain Clinic. We're going to be talking about Off the Rack, the fundraiser that's coming up on February 1st.
Come on, guys. Rolling? Good. When hiking in bear country like this, it's important to remember your essentials, like bear spray and knowing how to use it. Liam, where's my bear spray?
I put it in the bottom of your pack.
I didn't mean... How am I supposed to get it quickly?
When adventuring in bear country, remember, bring bear spray and know how to use it. Hike in groups, make noise, and don't run. Be bear aware.
Hello and welcome to MCAT. MCAT stands for Missoula Community Access Television. We are a nonprofit group that helps the community get into broadcasting and communication. How? I'm not sure. If it's too formal, I mean, people are just gonna be like, oh, that's boring. And then if it's too like, oh yeah, we don't give a crap, la-di-da. Are you filming this? Oops. How? We train anybody who comes through our doors how to shoot, edit, and produce videos. Whether you like to be in front of the camera or behind, we provide the equipment you need to get started, so come on down.
Montana law enforcement urges you to think beyond the DUI arrest.
Statistically, alcohol-related crashes are more serious and deadly than others. Alcohol is a factor in more than 40% of fatal crashes.
When you go out, please drink responsibly. Arrange for a ride home, get a taxi, call a friend, or Home Safe Missoula.
Remember, your best defense against an impaired driver is your seatbelt.
Going out tonight? We are. Never ever drink and drive. This message is brought to you by Missoula County DUI Task Force and Montana Law Enforcement.
And we're back with Lynsey Bourke is here with Emily Likins from Blue Mountain Clinic. They're here to promote the annual fundraiser Off the Rack. And I'm holding it up because this is a groovy poster. And I think Josh is in position to zoom in to this here poster. So there you see 2/1/2014 Wilma Theater, 8 p.m. Oh yeah, it's filling the screen. And is this, Lynsey, the theme, Metamorphosex?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a fashion show, people.
Yeah, I want you to
that.
explain the entire event because it's grown so over the years and it's such an exciting thing. And it's very Missoula.
So Off the Rack is Blue Mountain Clinic's annual fundraiser, and this is its 7th year running. And Off the Rack utilizes condoms. Every year we get thousands of unlubricated condoms of all different colors, and we give it to the community to come up with different concepts of using those condoms and different things that express sexual health and reproductive choice. So from that, the event's really evolved over the last years. And having a theme in the last couple years has really challenged the community to think more deeply about what these issues mean in terms of our own cultural landscape. So last year with Sex in the Zoo, we had entries that were extremely creative, utilizing condoms to make things like jellyfish and talk about independence, and even to having people like Vivian Bourke, one of our state representatives, actually show up with her daughter and granddaughter and do a piece around feminism through the generations. So this year's show, Metamorphosex, do you want to jump in on that, Emily?
Sure. Metamorphosex was conceptualized by us with the help of a lot of people. We've been tossing around a whole bunch of different ideas over the last few months to really come down to what we were trying to say this year. And we chose Metamorphosex. Obviously, it's a little play on the word metamorphosis. And we're trying to invoke all of the types of bodily changes that we go through over our lives. Our sexuality, our gender, it's always changing. Our bodies are constantly changing. So we're trying to really embody that idea of change within ourselves, but also looking to the changing historical and cultural contexts that surround sex and gender, because we've had so much change even within our lifetimes in the way that sex and gender is perceived and talked about within the community. So we're kind of trying to both encapsulate the community and our culture, but also ourselves in our own personal journeys.
Interesting. I mean, that's a lot to absorb.
I know, but from the personal to the kind of global.
And also like that generational thing, you know.
Yeah.
I remember somebody, they said like, oh my gosh, I hope when I'm over 50, I'll be over having sex. Because they felt like it was just the province of young people, right? Because if you look at advertising or the way sex and love is sold, it is typically sold like between 18 and 35, and then you're done.
Only young, attractive people do it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of cool that you have the metamorphosex in there.
Great theme.
And also, we probably should, we haven't really explained Blue Mountain Clinic to the novice viewer. So they're like, what? They have a mountain and they're sexing? What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to take that for a spin, the mission of Blue Mountain Clinic, a little of the history and so on?
Yeah. Blue Mountain Clinic was started 37 years ago in this community by a lot of feminists who were interested in seeing there be abortion care in our community. And they started it with a fiercely feminist mission to provide choices in healthcare for all people, namely women at the time. And slowly our mission grew and our services grew to also include men, women, and children in this community. And we now offer full spectrum family practice services. So people come to us, you know, for the doctor, they come to us for reproductive services, and if they would so need so, they come to us for abortion as well. We end up serving entire families, their kids. We offer pediatrics. So within that, we see choice as being part of that spectrum of care that should be available to people anywhere, where you're able to actually go to the doctor's office and speak truthfully to your doctor and be able to receive any services that you should need throughout your life. In this way, the theme of the show this year, Metamorphosex, kind of represents our family practice care in a way I don't think we've been able to fully articulate previously.
And you offer like a sliding scale in terms of income levels for people?
We don't cap the number of Medicaid patients we accept, but Blue Mountain Clinic is a nonprofit.
Right.
However, we don't have sliding scale fees.
Okay.
We accept all insurance, and we provide, you know, some cheaper rates for people who can pay the day of their service.
We also offer a discount for people who are uninsured. So if you don't have insurance, we understand that it's a much bigger burden to go to the doctor.
Yeah, sure.
Great.
And the purpose of the show over the years, right, has been try to break down stigmas and barriers about sex, because it is the position of the clinic that if people talk openly about these things, they're going to be a lot happier and healthier. So, I mean, I know that's a big division between conservative, you know, viewpoints and what's called liberal viewpoints. Oh, yeah, there's the Facebook page for the event, February 1st, 8 p.m. at the Wilma. And people, you could go to the Facebook page. How are they finding it? Just put in Metamorphosex or Off the Rack, probably get them there.
It's under Off the Rack Missoula.
Okay.
Off the Rack, Missoula.
Yeah. So you could learn more about it. There's probably pictures of the previous, give people ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of ordinary people in the community that use their creativity and daring, and it's like a fashion show. And, you know, people come out on the runway, there's exciting music, and, and you get to see your friends, like what they've come up with. Yeah.
So if you are a creative person who wanted to take part in the show,
Is there
how do you go
time
about
still?
That? Is there still time? Is there?
Well, we've actually closed submissions for this year. The
Yeah.
deadline on the 9th.
But if you want to see the show,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Tickets are available at bluemountainclinic.org.
Okay.
And VIP is buy 5 and get 1 free. Get the 6 free. VIP tickets are $75. General admission is $25. And then we have a really special Living Lightly fee this year, where you can get tickets for $15 if you do some social networking.
Yeah.
What do you have to do?
So we're asking that if you follow the Blue Mountain Clinic Facebook page and the Off the Rack page, you'll see our posts come up all the time. And we're asking that people share and like 4 of our posts, only 4.
Wow.
And you'll be able to get the tickets, general admission tickets, for $15 instead of $25. We usually do a student price, but we decided this year to do the Living Lightly instead, because we understand that there's a variety of socioeconomic backgrounds at the university, and there's also a lot of, you know, not so well off young professionals who don't have that grid card anymore.
I think the number's growing.
And we don't want that to be a barrier to participation for the show, but also understand, of course, this is a fundraiser.
Right, of course. But Living Lightly discount,
Yeah,
that's a
that's
great idea.
really something. Scott in the booth want to know, how long has Off the Rack been going on?
This is its 7th year.
Wow,
7th year of Off the Rack.
And it's been amazing because the show really has evolved from just being, you know, a fashion show, which is what it was initially, which is up and down the runway, to people really conceptualizing full performance art pieces, using fashion and art and music and audio visuals. We have a great team this year. We have choreography assistance by Heather Adams from the DVC. We have audio visual support and this amazing graphic artist work with Amber Bushnell. DJ Tiger Lily, Carly D'Andrea is actually going to be doing our DJing. So we have a lot of really amazing people in the community coming together to help us do what they do best to help make our show the best.
That's great.
That sounds great. So again, the date is February
February 1st.
1st.
8 p.m. Wilma.
Good.
Well, yeah, I guess we have to move along because the miracle worker has arrived. Kim got a guest from Montana Rep, and that's Katie Helms, so she's going to come out. But we'll just leave you with this.
Yeah.
Off the Rack, February 1st, Friday, and 8 p.m. at the Wilma, and you can learn more about it. Go to Facebook, for Off the Rack, Missoula. Lynsey, Emily, thank you so much for coming on.
Success.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And we'll be right back with Katie Helm from Montana Rep right after this.
Let's say you were watching one of MCAT's programs not too long ago. If you or anyone you know wants a copy of our wonderful programming, call us at 542-6228 or email us at mcat.org. Ask for a dub request and tell us what you want. We'll get it to you. Walk-ins welcome. Just go to 500 North Higgins, Suite 105, just off Spruce.
Okay, we're back.
Hey.
Katie Helms is here with the Montana Reparatory Theater, and she is so kind to come down and talk about the Miracle Worker Gala show. Katie, thanks so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you're most welcome. So what is going on? I know the Montana Rep has been rehearsing the Miracle Worker play about the life of Helen Keller.
Yes.
And this is like a fundraising event for Montana Rep?
It's our big fundraising event that's held on the 24th. It starts at 5:30. So we do sell tickets at $75 per person.
Yeah, but it's an elegantly plated dinner.
Yes,
I read
it
that.
is.
It's not just like $75 for a no-host cocktail. That starts.
Yeah, this has been an institution that a lot of Missoulians look forward to every year. It's the kickoff of the Rep season, right? And explain what's going to happen for this special gala dinner that will make it such a fun night.
Well, a lot of people like to dress up, so it is kind of a dress-up cocktail event. And then we do have a band that's going to be playing the Full-Grown Men, featuring Eden Atwood as well. So,
Is the event going to be held? See, that I didn't get from when I went on the website where it's going to be.
It's going to be at the Montana Theater in the PAR TV building at the University of Montana.
Oh, see, I guess I did get that because almost like I thought it's going to be up there.
Yep,
right?
we do all the dinner in the backstage, and then we also have some that's going to be held at the Masker Theater as well.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of all over the place in there, so everybody can get to experience all of the backstage area.
Oh, that's really cool.
So the event starts at 5?
5:30.
5:30 with what happens first? Like a
There's going to be a no-host cocktail event, and then at 6:30 is when the play will start and the doors will open. And then from there, around 8:30 is when we're going to get dinner started.
Dinner and dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a big night. I've never gone. It sounds intriguing though, but it's a bargain at $75 to support the Rep and get all that.
Right. You get a cocktail party, you get a play, you get dinner and dancing.
Right, and a band, live band.
Right. You can't beat that. And, I mean, one of the classics of American theater, The Miracle Worker.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome show. I'm really looking forward to it.
How are rehearsals going?
So far, so good. So looking forward to actually just being there with the crowd and all of the fun activities.
Oh,
so.
yeah. And can you explain Montana Rep for people who don't know?
Yeah, maybe they've
a
not
little
heard
bit
the
about
name.
why would we support Montana Rep?
Yeah, so basically we've been hosting it since I believe 1968, and it's a traveling tour of theater, so it's a lot of fun.
Right, so it appears in a lot of places, you know, Montana's made up of a lot of small towns who may not have the resources to do like the cultural stuff Missoula gets to do because of the university being here. So for small towns, these traveling shows are a great boon, right,
And
to the
it's
cultural
national,
scene.
too, right?
Yeah.
It's not just Montana. They
Right.
travel across the country.
Yep. We have a nice little map where we all have, I believe it's usually on our programs and stuff that we have kind of showing
Right.
where all the places that we travel to. So kind
And
of nice.
do I remember correctly that it's like one of the oldest continually touring repertory companies in the country?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Can we hold that?
Oh yeah, maybe Josh will come and zoom in to this.
Because it's very, very
2014 National Tour. So this, The Miracle Worker, is the play that's going around the nation?
Yes. There it is. And
Oh my gosh, Greg, who, I see on the Facebook that Greg is in Florida or something.
He just got back,
Okay.
actually. He's supposed to get back tonight at 10, so not quite back, but
Right.
getting there.
I think The Miracle Worker
Oh, look, they've got-
is
thank
one
you.
of those things that everyone thinks they've seen it, or
Yeah.
they've heard so much about the movie, or they saw 5 minutes on television one night. But most of us haven't really sat through the play.
And
it's
experiencing it
I have
live
not
is
sat through
so
the
much
play.
fun.
Exactly. It's a wonderful play.
I remember being shocked. I can't think of the young gal who was in the movie, but how stern Helen Keller's teacher was initially. Patty Duke. Patty Duke played the movie version of this.
And Anne Bancroft, right?
Yes, Anne Bancroft played the very stern, because there was some smacking around in that. Honestly, there was.
Anyway,
at the start.
It's a very dramatic, terrific play.
Yeah.
And, do you know what the food is?
We do have quite a bit of different options. I know that we do have like a vegetarian plate for vegetarians, of course. They haven't specified what that will be yet, but then we do have a fabulous chicken that's going to be served. And I believe there's even going to be like a lovely little huckleberry cheesecake dessert. So, yeah.
That's great.
It's going to be all definitely Feast of the Senses is the theme. So we're trying to pull together touch,
Oh, of course,
sound,
right.
taste, and
Right, of
sight,
course.
and everything together.
Oh, that's a great
Well,
idea,
let's
too.
face it, at the end of January, we all need something fun to go to.
Right, and this is 10 days from when, or 11 from when we're recording now, not this Friday, but next. But then, of course, if you see it later, it is Friday, January the 24th, and tickets are available from the website.
You can actually call the box office, and we can sell tickets, or you can actually come down to the box office as well and pick up tickets. We have a nice form that you can fill out, and we can get tickets
And
to you.
in the spirit of Joel Baird, I would like to point out that there is
Yes.
quick stop parking right there.
And it's in the
Don't be
evening, so there should be
intimidated,
more room.
But if you want to pop over and pick up tickets, you can always park right in front of the theater.
Oh, I
It's
see.
not a hassle.
Okay. Oh,
And then
Katie, the phone number is 243 for the box office?
243-2891. So.
Okay. 243-2891 to order tickets for Montana's Reps fundraiser. Well, anything you want to add in 30 seconds, because Scott said we got to
Well,
go.
aside from the fundraiser, we do just have basically the show will be airing. If you don't want to do the dinner and the big event and everything, you can just see the show. We are doing it on the 25th after the gala event, and then as well as the 31st, the 30th through the 31st, the 1st, which is going to be a matinee show and an evening show at 7:30. And then we also have the 6th and the 8th as well. So, and those are all 7:30.
Terrific.
Yeah, so we
Great.
have a couple different options for
That's
everyone.
really true. All right, we better go out there in MCAT land.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's
so
a good
much for
show.
watching. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And thanks, Kim, for joining me
I
in
always have fun.
2014.
Yeah, another year.
All right, we'll see you guys next time here at Missoula Live on MCAT. I'm Joel Baird.
Kim Anderson, see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.